Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Ever thought a tiny screen on your wrist could quietly become the most personal tech you own? Not your phone, not your laptop, but this little rectangle that buzzes, breathes, and sometimes reminds you to breathe. Stick around, because this isn't just about the Apple Watch turning 10. It's about how it quietly changed the way we live, connect, and feel. And maybe, just maybe, what comes next is even bigger than we expect. When the Apple Watch first came out in 2015, people weren't sure what to make of it. A screen on your wrist that needed charging every night? It felt unnecessary, even kind of absurd. Some laughed, some shrugged, and to be honest, I was right there with them. But here we are, a decade later, and now I can't imagine my day without it. Not because it's flashy or futuristic, but because it's quiet, subtle. It does its job without making a scene. And in a world where every app is begging for attention, the watch gently taps your wrist instead. It whispers, not screams. And somehow, that whisper has become more powerful than we realized. The first Apple Watch wasn't perfect. In fact, it was kind of clunky. Apps were slow. The interface was confusing. It felt more like a cool experiment than something useful. But it had a promise in it. A little spark that hinted. This might matter more than you think. It didn't catch fire because of messages or weather widgets. It caught on because it quietly started doing things that mattered. It counted your steps, sure, but then it started watching your heart, noticing when it beat too fast or too irregularly. It learned your patterns, nudged you to stand up, breathe, move, even when you didn't want to. And sometimes it saved lives. That's when it shifted. It stopped being a tech toy. It became a companion, a sort of bodyguard. Or maybe a really quiet best friend. I remember this one story. A man went in for a checkup after his Apple Watch kept warning him about his heart rate. Turns out he was on the edge of a serious medical emergency. The watch gave him a second chance. And that's not just one case. There are hundreds like it, maybe thousands. And that's something a phone has never done for me. Not like that. What I love is how the watch evolved without chasing trends. It didn't try to be the next smartphone. It didn't try to replace everything else. Instead, it carved its own space. Slowly, patiently, like water shaping stone. And every few years, it got better in ways that felt meaningful. Series 2 added GPS. Suddenly you could run without carrying your phone like a toddler clutches a blankie. Series 3? That was the big one. Cellular. Now you could go outside, really go out, and still stay in touch. That freedom? It's hard to explain until you felt it. You leave your phone behind and realize, wow, I can breathe a little deeper now. Then came Series 4 with ECG and fall detection. Two features no one asked for until someone's life depended on them. And then suddenly everyone got it. This wasn't about tech. This was about trust. Each year brought something small but important. Blood oxygen, temperature tracking, crash detection. None of it flashy. All of it grounding, real. But there's one upgrade that changed how the watch felt more than any other. Always on display. It sounds simple, right? But that one shift, not needing to flick your wrist to check the time, made it finally feel like a real watch. Like something that belonged. It's funny how much that matters. You don't realize how awkward it is to twist your arm like a magician just to see the time until you don't have to anymore. Then came the Ultra. Bigger, bolder, and rugged. Built for climbers, divers, marathoners. And maybe even desk jockeys who just want a battery that lasted longer than a day. It was Apple saying, yeah, we got something for the wild ones, too. And let's not forget the pandemic. I know, we don't love going back there. But let's be honest. The Apple Watch earned its stripes during that time. You're juggling Zoom calls, sourdough starters, toilet paper shortages. Try not to lose your mind. And suddenly, your watch reminds you to breathe, to stand, to stretch. It wasn't perfect. But it was present, and that mattered. Over time, the little things added up. The tap on your wrist when your Uber's arriving. The ping when your phone slips under couch. The turn-by-turn nudge while driving, so you don't have to stare at screen. It blended into life, like it was always supposed to be there. But it's not all roses, because the very thing that makes it amazing, being connected, can also pull you out of the moment. I've had deep conversations interrupted by a buzz I thought was urgent. Romantic dinners derailed by Slack. It's a double-edged sword, and sometimes the blade cuts deep. That's where the watch asks you to make the rules, to decide what comes through and what stays quiet. It teaches you boundaries, if you let it. And that's kind of poetic, the idea that a piece of tech can help us use less tech. Something else I've noticed? Parents are now giving Apple Watches to their kids. Not to spoil them, but to stay connected without giving them a phone. It's like a little digital leash that says, I'm here, you're safe, but you're not drowning in TikTok. There's something hopeful in that. The question now is, what comes next? There are whispers about non-invasive glucose monitoring. That's huge, not just cool, but life-saving for millions. There's talk of blood pressure tracking, maybe even mental health signals based on stress patterns. But for me, the future isn't about packing in more features. It's about doing less better, helping us stay grounded, a little healthier, a little calmer, without needing to escape to a cabin in the woods. The Apple Watch doesn't want your full attention, and that's what makes it brilliant. It wants to be just present enough, like a friend who sits next to you in silence, and somehow you feel better just knowing they're there. That's powerful. That's not a gadget. That's a little thread connecting us to something bigger. And now it's your turn. What's your story? Has your watch helped you through something tough? Or made life just a little easier? Or maybe you're still watching this, wondering if it's worth getting one. Whatever your experience, I'd love to hear in the comments, and subscribe my channel for more tech updates. Because this isn't just about technology. It's about people. And the strange, beautiful ways we connect through these little machines. Thanks so much for sticking with me till the end.